Okay, we're going to do the part two I promised yesterday for the divine feminines. And some unexpected energies have detoured us a little bit in the sense that I'm really picking up very, very strong on a portion of the divine feminine collective that is very strong, that has been faithfully committed to following their guidance and keeping their head up and following what's in front of them. And it's been a long, intense road. And there is an underlying sadness that many people may not recognize or understand that you're experiencing, connected to the ways in the depth that you have worked to become the version of you that is ready to receive the things that you deserve. And this underlying sadness is connected to the fact that the outer world results are not matching up with the inner world results just yet. And the first message that's coming through is that it's because those outer world results aren't quite up to par and ready for you just yet. This does not mean you failed or that you haven't done what you need to do. But this is an opportunity for you to drop deeper into caring for yourself, loving yourself. And like I spoke about in the last few videos, maybe cleaning up any bits of residual fears that might be presenting during this time. I know often we think, well, we've worked so hard, I've gotten here, I'm ready, and it doesn't show up. And then things can start to create a bit of anxiety or uncertainty or even confusion around what did I do all of this for? Like, why have I changed myself? Why did I blow up my whole life? Why did I go on this whole entire new path just to sit here and be alone or things to not be playing out in the way that I was shown was going to happen. And again, this does feel one thing that feels deep is that this is an opportunity for the feminines to replenish in a completely new way. I am going to pull some cards of support for you. I also did hear like this is some messages from your higher self. We're going to ask to bring in some messages from the highest source, the higher power, any blind spots, anything that might be helpful that you're not aware of, that might be some helpful information to know. I also did hear, for those of you that are interested, what might be coming in love. I'm open to doing that here. I'm open to open up those messages here, but I'm also open to doing a part two if those messages want to get longer and we want an extended, okay? Because that kind of came in on the tail end of this energy opening up. Well, it's been opening up since yesterday, but it really became clear with the underlying emotion that I was feeling that it feels important to address it. And it also felt important to address the strength of the feminines because most likely the feminines that are in this, the world probably wouldn't know that you're experiencing that underlying sadness unless you specifically told someone. In fact, some of you may not have even realized it was down there so deep until you were hearing this message. So just honor that. This feels like a sadness that, of course, all of our emotions are appropriate, but it feels like a grief sadness, like just like I said, around the outer world results not matching the inner world. When you go on this journey and you're on it for so long and you're working so deeply, and everything around you is telling you to do more or to look at this or look at that, and you start to internalize it like you must not have done something good enough. But then there also comes a point where you're like, I've done everything that I can do. And so it's time to just reset, take some rest, take some space for replenishment. And again, let's see what wants to come through for you. from the highest power. And this is interesting because earlier when I picked up the deck, this card came out. I put it back in the deck. You just watched me shuffle, and it's the card that came out. And it's Sacred Breath and Sound, Life Force Communication. This is immediately speaking to me about this replenishment, this rejuvenation at a deeper level of your core soul frequency, of your soul song that I did a video about a few days ago. And what I'm sensing is that many of you may have already been working on this. What is coming through that I'm excited about is it actually feels like more wants to open. And but this, my loves, is for you. This is where your gifts, your abundance, your prosperity, your frequency, your creation energy, your life force is wanting to express out of you in a new way, not because you have to do more to be good enough, but because you just are enough. You are worthy. You are beautiful. You are amazing. And you have all of this beauty inside of you that is for you to experience. And as you experience it for you, then it'll come out in the world in a new way. And this feels important to acknowledge that this time of replenishment and rejuvenation and just being and being still, if that's what you're called to do, is important because this is where some of these new codes and this new information and these new gifts, I say new, but they might be new for you remembering now, but these are just part of your soul song, part of your core soul gifts that have always been there. And in this new space, this is where they have the time and the space to blossom. This is why we were talking about having a safe space to open these gifts. And specifically, if you're uncertain of what that is, you could take some time to simply do some deep breathing, to do some humming, to do some chanting, to do some singing. This does not have to be a specific song with words. This is simply just allowing your frequency, your voice to literally just express. I've talked about this before, like doing it with painting, and I'm sure many of you have heard about that expressive dance. But this is also something you can do with your voice, uncensored, unhinged, just allowing the sounds to come forth. And even if it doesn't make up a specific song or melody or something you want to share with the world, that does not matter. What this is doing for you, for your heart, for your voice, for your expression in your frequency, your own voice is activating your own special codes within you. And this dolphin is immediately speaking to me about the higher power, about your higher information. For those of you that resonate, your connection to the cosmic energies, the galactic energies, and just all of those beautiful or ancient aspects of you, all of your lifetimes of experience that have brought you to this point as you use your own voice, as you use your own sound, you're literally activating your own codes. And they're immediately bringing me to my cats. If you guys, many of you might know this already, but cats, they don't move a lot, right? But when they do, cats, they make big moves, they move fast, they hunt, they do things like that. But they spend a majority of their time resting, sleeping, rejuvenating. But how they are able to stay so strong and agile is through their purring. Their purring actually tones their body, keeps them healthy, and supports that frequency that they hold. And it feels like also when we have animals, when we have cats, when they come on us and purr, they're also supporting that and sharing their beautiful frequencies with us. But the same power lives within you through that ability to use your voice, your sound, even if you don't talk or use words, just any sounds and or your breath. Okay. You can just breathe and listen or hear or experience the sounds of that. Or if you can't hear or you can't talk, just feeling the frequencies in your body. Okay. And for those of you that can talk and can see and can, you may even want to take time and be quiet and just tune into that without those outer experiences. Okay. So this is kind of clicking into the inner and outer things that we're talking about. Like the outer isn't reflecting of what you've done in the inner yet. But this voice, this sound feels like that expression, that frequency going out, and sending those waves out into the world to actually touch in and let those people, places, and things that are meant for you, let them know you're available. Okay, so when you do this for yourself, you're sending that sonar out. That's how the dolphins and the whales communicate through those sounds. Okay, there's another thing that's coming up that I feel guided to talk to you about. When I was in massage school, one of the things that we had to do was actually do a massage completely blindfolded. And that was scary for people because, you have to drape properly and make sure people are covered, even if you're fully blindfolded. It was a deep test to like remembering all the things we had to do, but also it was one of my favorite classes ever because having my eyes closed, I was way more tuned in with the person, their body, and what was happening through my other senses outside of what my eyes could see. And yes, I'm obviously an intuitive person, so I did enjoy that. But even after that, when I was out on my own and doing massage, I would spend a lot of my massages with working with my eyes closed so that I could just tune in and connect with the actual person, their body, their energy, and what they were telling me, what their body was telling me. And so when we go into the inner world, in the breath, in the sound, however you choose to do this, it's like you're tapping into those frequencies. You're activating more of that within you. And even though you can't see it necessarily, that as you express it, that frequency is going out into the world. And this is clearly bringing up different things about different senses. So it feels like for yourself, you could work with, maybe blindfolding yourself and doing activities, or like plugging your ears with some cotton and listening in a different way than with your ears. But it feels like these types of things are going to support a different development of your own intuitive skills, but also um, your capacity to activate your own gifts. Sorry, there was like three things coming in at that moment, but it does feel like these are ways. Sometimes we think that we have to go get a book to increase our intuitive abilities, but sometimes it can be as simple as setting your intention, activating your own inner energies, and allowing those to blossom. Okay. Most importantly, it's saying this is more about playing, expanding, having fun, getting to know yourself deeper during this time where everything else is on its way to catching up with you. Okay. I'm also going to get one of the Rose Oracle cards. Healing the motherline. Okay. Healing ancestral work, motherline growing up. Okay. So since this came out, wow, it immediately took me to some feminines who actually may have found in their family they took on much more of the mother role, or potentially your mother depended on you to be the stable one. And or you were the stable one for your family. Maybe you still are. There is a something's wanting to come through to have you sit with that and allow yourself to unravel out of the mother role where you weren't the actual mother. So, obviously, if you have your own children, you are their mother, and that is your appropriate role. But for those of you who were in a mothering role to everyone else, you can go in and simply ask to update your connection to each of those people to be the appropriate energetic, genetic connection. So if you were the daughter, then ask to be in the daughter's place. If you were the sister, ask to be in the sister's place. You you see where I'm going with this? And it doesn't mean you can't have your nurturing and mothering energies. But what I'm feeling is that right now is needed for you, number one, and number two, or for your own children, of course. But there is a portion where that has been out mothering everyone else, and it feels very much time that that nourishment and nourishing comes back to you. And if you've already been doing this, very good. What might happen is you might find that other memories come up where you can just retrieve back more of the essence. So you may not be doing this with people anymore, but maybe you used to do it so you can call those parts of you back home. Okay, to your body, to your heart, to your voice, to your nourishment, to your nourishing, to your self care. Okay. And, I am going to pull one about what's coming in love. And this could be romantic love, it could be family, friends, it could be inner love. I will let each of you discern, but I'm going to pick one here. And again, like I said, if it aligns, I will do a part two. Serendipity. Okay. So, what's coming through with this serendipity card is for those of you, again, who have been feeling the inner world and outer world are not matching. And you're receiving this guidance now to like bring the nourishment and care back to yourself. What's coming through is I know a lot of you have been doing this, and you're going to say, Danielle, I've been focused on myself. I've been doing this. But what I also feel is that you've been working really hard and maybe you've even subconsciously been kind of hard on yourself, or you've still been doing more doing. Okay. And this is just to say it's okay to just be. And for those of you that have been doing that already, this is your message to say, keep going. It's okay. Things are going to sync up. The fact that the serendipity card came out speaks volumes. If any of you guys have seen that movie Serendipity, you'll know that's like that movie plays out over years and it's such a divine counterpart movie. If you haven't seen it, you may want to check it out. It's a cute movie, one of my faves actually. But it really speaks to the fact that things sync up when it's aligned. And when something is meant for you, no matter what direction life has taken you, you really can't mess it up and it'll bring things back together. And what I'm feeling within this is as you are relaxing a bit deeper, really relaxing your nervous system and trusting, shoring up your own soul song and bringing more of those deeper past energies home to your heart and just being in the world as you are guided. a lot might not happen right away. It might seem like crickets. It might seem still and quiet. And it might come with some of that same energy of like, I've done so much. Why is it so quiet? But you see how it's almost like this black and white, and like she's on the boat right here, and everything looks black and white, and she can't see all of this color and all of this activity. But as soon as she gets around that corner, everything opens up. And this feels to me when I look at it with we just had the full buck moon, right? And we have this buck here and the angel. It feels like the higher support. The buck is really feeling deeply to me like the divine masculine energy, even though I know we have the sun. That's like the higher divine masculine energy. This is feeling to me right now about the masculine in the physical form. And oh, I'm seeing the shooting star, and we're also in a time where there's been meteors going on. I'm going to pick one more with this. I want to see what direction it's going and see if more wants to come with it. Because it does feel like there's a lot of unseen, but you just keep going, even in the darkness, even in the heaviness, right? Look at all of this that's up ahead. And what came through was the 10 of Pentacles and the 6 of Cups. And this to me immediately feels about the maturing of the masculine collective, whether you are here watching for a specific masculine, or if you are just watching for your own internal masculine, or you're open to a new masculine, whichever scenario you're in. This is speaking about how the masculine energy is in the process of going through a maturing process, a learning process. And again, you may feel this in your own inner energies, but this bringing in the 10 of Pentacles, this feels like very much things are being worked on so that they can start to come to fruition in the physical world. And listen, I understand that it can feel very frustrating and confusing when you continue to do what is being asked of you, and you keep receiving the information to be patient and that everything happens in divine timing. But, we're still human, and it still gets annoying and frustrating. And you can still feel energies of grief. And that is okay. It feels important to honor it. It feels like part of the process. And if you are going through some sadness and some grief around this, what I'm also sensing is that you also might notice that there's a relief and a softness in your energy. And even though there's grief there, you may notice it's not a grief that's out of need or pulling or pushing. It's simply this realization that in so many ways you have landed, in so many ways you are ready, and in so many ways you're just going to take time to nurture your garden and let more blossom. Okay. And we know in these processes, uncomfortable things might come up, emotions come up, and what's coming through is like you don't necessarily have to dig anymore, right? We can allow the uncomfortable things to present as needed, and then you dig for the diamonds when they come up. You don't have to constantly be digging for things. It's okay to sail, it's okay to paddle, and it's okay sometimes to just float. Okay. And let yourself replenish. Allow the masculine collective to go through their processes and let yourself replenish in the meantime. Okay. For those of you who are interested, I am going to do a part two and to go deeper of what's coming in love for the divine feminine for those of you who are interested. Right now, it's just like leave it right here and we're going to do that deeper dive. Okay, my loves. So I will put that in the pinned comment and you will be able to go watch that on Patreon or YouTube memberships. I also keep it on Patreon as an individual video for any of you who would like to explore that. We'll just go deeper into, like I said, what's coming, what to expect, and yeah. I don't know. I'm at a loss because I feel like something new is coming. All right. I'm sending you lots of love. All my information is in the pinned comments. I do believe I have some sessions available coming up the following week. Those intuitive personal readings are closed, but personal coaching and advanced sessions are still available. All right, my loves, you take care. Again, have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.